Okay, so the oil lines are done. In the great room, I'm really looking forward to the time when I have a motorcycle lift table out in the garage with a cement floor instead of having to do this work on the motorcycle dolly over a piece of plywood in the great room. This is where we are now. So the oil lines are done. So we've got the line that comes down from the bottom of the tank that's been replaced. The line that goes back up to the tank, the return line, has been replaced. The line that goes from the primary back to the return has been replaced. Vent line from the other side of this T up to the tank has been replaced, but I did not do this part or the one that goes over to the primary, so I hope those are okay. And those are just vents. And then I rerouted the breather down, you can just barely see back there, up to my new breather here mounted to this battery box bracket right there. So that's job done for this. Hopefully oil leaking issue is now resolved. Next step is going to be to rebuild this carburetor. The S&S carburetor that's on this thing is leaking as soon as you turn on the fuel, so it just dumps fuel out of the bottom, so I got to rebuild that. I have the kit, so I've got the kit for it. Okay, so oil lines are all taken care of. I did go ahead and bleed the supply line so that the oil got all the way down to the pump. Kicked it a few times. I did a compression test, which didn't actually come out too well. It's kind of at the very lowest end of what's acceptable, so we're probably going to end up doing a top end on this thing pretty soon. But in the meantime, I want to see if we can get this thing to start. I want to hear this thing run. So I've got oil in it. I've got like I said, the oil bled down to the oil pump. And the fuel, I'm going to turn on briefly. We're going to see if we can get this to start up and see what happens. By trying to start a motorcycle inside the great room. Okay, that actually started up really easy. Just a couple of kicks and we had this thing running. I didn't put any fuel down the carburetor. I didn't put any starter fluid in there. I just turned the fuel on briefly and kicked it literally just a couple of times and she fired right up. So that's an encouraging sign, despite the fact that she didn't do real well on the compression test. So never know, that might come up a little bit when I run it, and maybe the cylinders need to clean up a little bit, and maybe that will come up a little bit, but I'm not holding my breath for that. So hopefully this is going to start up and run really well when I get the carburetor rebuilt. I didn't see any oil pressure come up during that short period of time that it just ran. I did take this pressure gauge off and kicked it a couple of times, and I did see oil come out there, so it is pumping oil. So I'm going to try to prime this somehow. I'm not sure exactly how, and get this engine, try to get the oil all the way up into the top of the engine before I start it again. But encouraging sign so far. So I'm going to be looking for top end rebuild parts here coming up soon. Probably going to be looking for a second set of jugs and pistons for this thing. Probably want to keep this thing running while I have another set machined, and then I'll swap so this thing doesn't have to have any long downtime while the jugs are out to the machine shop, because it looks like it is going to run with it the way it is. So we're going to run it.